Well, there's a few things happening, so I thought I'd do another video update on all the entrants, mainly because I want to show you how fortunes can change very rapidly. And I'll run the video screen. I'll pull it all back, and you'll see the boats racing in video mode. So before we do that, the situation with Francesco, he's coming down slowly towards the equator, still not across, doing 3.7 knots. And if we put the weather overlay, I think it's time for him to tack. I think basically he's just about into the trades now, so you should see him tack probably tomorrow or sometime today and start coming across this way to get down. Antoine's over the side here doing 3.7 knots, again sailing very conservatively. He's got a good consistent airflow. He should start to head around very soon. I think he's taking the traditional route and just taking his time and not stressing anything too much. Mark Sinclair's finally he's got, in fact now we've got back that lot. I'll bump it up to the next range here so you get a better picture of what's going on. Mark Sinclair, Captain Coconut, out of birthday mode into sailing again, doing 3.7 knots. Good airflow. He'll hook around, but he's got this centre of the high pressure system he's got to get through. Same with this Fun, 4.4 knots. They'd be having nice sails now. I think that should be pretty consistent. On that side of the high, they'll have a few thunderstorms maybe, but not too bad. You know, this side's usually a lot clearer without the thunderstorms. But coming across, poor old Loic, he's now trapped in the middle of this this high. Not much wind, only doing 4 knots, but still moving. He again should tack across soon, but you'll see what happens with the weather. I think they all end up in a hole. Tommy's still, what do you say, badgering around here, not knowing where to go because winds from all directions. He's on the edge of that no wind zone, still making progress. He's decided to go straight south. If he comes across the other way, we should see him tack soon. He should be coming across southwesterly again. So we'll see what happens. Susie, wow, look at that. She's coming back now, but she's actually sailing southwest. So before she was sailing northeast, tacked around, not much wind, only making 1.7 knots, but at least she's still moving. Strange position, and this is the one I want to highlight when we do the video of this, like the graphic video with animation of the boats, because you remember she was here with R and Gregor. They were all sort of pretty much doing pretty well. Now she's way behind, so she's lost a huge amount of ground just in the last 3 days. Uku's managed to keep it together and keep moving generally in the right direction. He's still doing 4 knots at the moment, so he's happy with that. Certainly hasn't lost out as much as Susie. Mark Slatch still doing his thing, coming down, moving well, 6.3 knots. Philippe still okay, 5 knots. He's going to come into Cape Town down here. He's running along the edge of that no wind zone, so he's okay. And Jean-Luc is now dipping down to try and get underneath the Cape here and miss some of these current zones. So all is well generally with the fleet, but a lot of jockeying around going on with this wind changes. So if we go 24 hours ahead, we'll go through till tomorrow, and you can see Loic and Abelas, they're still hooked up. They're basically not going to go anywhere in a hurry. That low wind zone is forming over the top of them as the overall high pressure starts to get itself organised and head towards the Cape over here. Tapio's coming down into the no wind zone, so he's not going to go anywhere fast. Igor, headwinds. He's basically where he is now. It's going to come across this way, and he's not going to have favourable sailing conditions. He will keep sailing, but it's not going to be productive. Mark and Istvan, they'll do all right. They'll keep coming down. Igor and Gregor are looking very good at the moment. So's Mark Slats. They've got these consistent breezes, so they'll be making top speed, rocketing down on course and so on. Jean-Luc will be a bit further ahead. He's going to enter into the zone of his first seriously big winds and seas, so that'll start happening within 24 to 36 hours. If we go ahead again another day, bingo, you start to see the high is now squashed out. Huge no wind zone, which is possibly going to upset Uku unless he dips south, but I think in a couple of days he'll be down here, so he's lost it. Now hopefully Mark will get south. He'll be down here somewhere, so he'll still have breezes. Jean-Luc will certainly have breezes, looking good right then. He'll start to keep moving quite comfortably. And Gregor and R are going to be riding this really solid following winds. They'll be rocketing. They'll be doing 7 knots for a day or so. So they're going to pick up. Mark, if he doesn't do something quick, he could slow down a bit. But I think realistically, Mark's probably going to be about here somewhere, so he'll be okay. These guys are going to have harder winds, so they'll probably start to gain a little bit. And they might end up, all 3 of them will be abreast here in 2 or 3 days' time. And if we push forward another day, it's now completely changed. R and Gregor are going to be in heavy winds. They'll be down here somewhere. Big winds on the beam, big seas on the beam, breaking seas. They've got to be very careful. You'll probably see them back off a bit. They would have gone through the northwesterly preceding this front here. And then it swings very quickly to the southwest and builds. So they're going to be doing it tough there for a while. Jean-Luc is going to be in the thick of it. He'll be down here somewhere, some big winds again. So as to the guys up the back, they're still going to be challenged. Who knows what will happen with Susie. So that's pretty much just a quick update. But what I want to do now is I want to just give you an animation, a video animation of what's happened in the last week, say. So to do that, just to remind you, if you hit on there, this controls the speed of the animation, and we want to go reasonably quick, so we'll bring it up to here. And as soon as I hit this button here, it'll start to play. So we'll lose all the weather and everything, so I'll pull that. Oh, once I drag it back to a date. So it's the 21st now, so I'll go back to about the 15th. Well, we'll go back a fair way. So here we go now, and now I've positioned them ready to play. When I hit this one here, that should play. So here we've got the boats coming down. I'll, let's see, I'll just pull this over here. You can see Cape Town. So here you've got Susie, you've got, oh crikey, so you've got Mark Slats here coming down. He was in that position, you know, coming from the west. You got Philippe and Jean-Luc here. There's Philippe, there's Jean-Luc. Jean-Luc's about to pull into the lead. Susie over here, Uku and Tapio are all across here. That's Ari there, R's okay. And up the back here you've got Tommy and Loic. So they're all looking pretty reasonable. This is when they were sailing down and the weather was not causing any major upsets. But very shortly, you remember there was some low pressures happening and a few people get caught in holes. And it gets very interesting. Here's where Philippe has his steering problem. There, bang. He's lost his wind vane, then he's lost his tiller shortly after the next day. So the first one was the wind vane. Going to slow him down, then his tiller went. So, but Jean-Luc was already in front, remember that? And now you'll see him hand steering. Mark is coming up, Susie's coming down. And just watch Gregor, relative position of Gregor, that's him there. And also Uku. Uku and the boys were all trapped up here. Okay, so they had those confusing winds. This is Ari rather, Arwig's there. That's Mark Slats, still wondering what to do. The others are slowly gaining on him, but you watch Gregor, that's an amazing one, and watch what happens to Uku, and then we'll watch what happens to Susie as well. Actually that's Uku, Tapio, and that's Igor back there. This one here is Loic. That's Mark Slats. Susie's looking really good. She's right up there. Here's Gregor. Oh no, this is, now I'm getting a bit confused here now. Between Loic, that's Loic back there. This must be Are, because that's Uku. Anyway, you'll see, now I'm getting a bit confused as well, working on colours. But this is Susie, she's looking great. Gregor's coming down here. Yeah, here comes Ari now. Ari's made a break, so he's pulled away from these guys. That's pretty amazing. He's gaining rapidly on Mark Slats. Gregor's just rocketing along. Susie's right with them. She's right up there. And this is your lead group. Here's Uku coming down. And things are about to change dramatically in a minute. You see Philippe carrying on here with hand steering back and forwards. Jean-Luc slowly pulling away. And it's about now things go pear-shaped for Susie and a few others. But Gregor's still making good grounds. Tommy's been doing okay. Hang on, yeah, and see Gregor's still coming across here. Ari coming down. Susie's right with them there. Look, Susie's right on top of Ari right now. And then they've gone across, and these guys then hold on to this weather system. And watch what happens to Susie now. She completely loses it, absolutely off the planet. These guys are playing up. That's Tapio, and Tapio is off on a blinder. That's Igor coming across. And there's Uku, he's doing okay. But look at Susie. She's just pulling away. She's sailing away from the mark and losing a lot of ground here. Tommy's caught in a hole, zigzagging. We got Philippe going towards Cape Town. Gregor's made huge grounds. Ari's come down. Mark Slat starts to pull away, but Susie's still going away from the mark. Remembering this is where she wants to go. She's 90 degrees off course, and she's just tacked around there to that last night, but lost huge ground in about 2 days. And so that's it. Now we're back up to real time. So you've got Ari and Gregor looking pretty good down here. That weather's wrong now that it's come back. This is today's weather. So you've got Ari and Gregor looking in a really good position. Mark Slats is okay. He's still holding pretty well. Jean-Luc dipping down, and Susie's just lost hundreds and hundreds of miles. She's lost 2 or 3 days there, and she's not in a good position now because of this no wind. Loic's no wind. Tommy's just into it. You might see him turn around and come back through the other way. Uku's been doing okay, but you can see how quickly your fortunes can change. This has been a complete upset in the last 5 days. So all very interesting. Watch this space. The rest of it's all going well. We launched the 22 yesterday, 22 or today sort of thing, GGR, and we got a lot of entries coming in. Anyway, we'll talk about that in October. Thanks very much. See you later.